This is John Tharp, head coach of the Hillsdale College men's basketball team, and you're listening to Time Out with Andy Brown on WCSR.
AM 1340, FM 92.1, WCSR. This guy is the man in the middle for Hillsdale College basketball, and he has had a dominant start to the 2011 season. We're thrilled to be joined by the reigning GLIAC Player of the Week, Nick Washburn. Nick, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Oh, we're doing great, man. Congratulations on the award.
Thank you.
Off to a great start. I mean, you make the trip down to Ohio. You have 15 points average on those games, 6.5 boards per game. You had 5 blocks on the trip, and a couple of nice wins down in Ohio for your team to get started with the GLIAC season.
Yeah, it was nice. It was real nice going down to Ohio. Ashland's always a battle. We always battle with them. They're a scrappy team that always guns for us, so it was good to beat them. And then Lake Erie, a team that, came in the league about, a year, 2 years ago, and they're getting better every year. So, so it was good to beat them, especially on their home floor. Yeah, for sure. Any road win in the GLIAC is just huge, and you've gotten a couple of those already this year. You talk a little bit about the start to your season. You had a year last year that I had the feeling, reading your body language on the court sometime, that you felt like you could have done more, that you could have had a bigger impact on the game. This year you're having that kind of an impact on the game. What's different as you start your junior season? I think maturity is the biggest thing. Last year, I was still too, sophomore, still young, trying to get the groove of the offense and stuff, and we had great shooters. I mean, we still do. We have great shooters that can knock the ball down, and I was just trying to do whatever I could. But this summer, I really took steps in the off season to make sure I elevated my game, to make sure that I could make a better impact on this year's team, and give us more weapons, and that makes us ultimately more dangerous. In a tough league as the GLIAC is. Can you tell our listeners and Charger fans tuning in tonight, what are some things that you worked on as you put in time over the summer to get better? One thing I really worked on was my jump shot, because I wasn't really respected as a jump shooter in most of the games last year. So I saw Coach Dave Ganane up in Detroit. I worked out with him for, 3 times a week, get my jumper right and working on post moves and stuff. And I went down to a Pete Newell camp down in Hawaii and, worked on my post moves with, great big men, big men from Kansas State, from Marquette, and, really got to see some good experience and, go back to the fundamentals and really get my game, set for the season. It seems like this year so far, I know we're early on in the year, but it seems like you're not getting into the early foul trouble that you got into last year. It seemed like that was really a struggle for you last year. You'd get a couple of quick fouls, and you'd be on the bench in the first 3 minutes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's one thing, it also comes to maturity. I mean, I'm still struggling with foul trouble. I mean, being the big guy, I feel like, I don't want to make excuses, but a lot of eyes are on you. Mm-hmm. And, but no, I mean, it becomes with maturity, coming with the flow of the game that you adapt with, as years to come. But, it's always been a goal as this season started, try not to get in foul trouble. And, I try not to, but that happens at times. We're talking to Nick Washburn, the GLIAC Player of the Week for the Chargers. They've got a huge home this weekend with Findlay coming in tomorrow night. We'll talk about that game in just a couple of minutes. How did Nick Washburn end up at Hillsdale College? It's funny. I was out at an AAU team based out of Chicago, and Rick the Rocket Castera, actually, I believe, once played here. And he was based out of Chicago, and he came to a couple tournaments or whatever and told Coach Pete McCauley about me. And, it was always in the back of my mind, I was all caught up in the Division I hype. But, I had a couple of surgeries. I broke my foot, and, I had to have my first rib removed, my senior season. But, Hillsdale and head coach John Tharp were with me the whole way and supported me and knew that I would get back to it. So, I came here. I love the family atmosphere. I don't think there's a better coaching staff in college basketball than the one I'm playing for here. And, the teammates are great. It's just it's a home away from home. And my parents didn't feel they felt so good about, bringing me here as opposed to anywhere else.
Yeah, and you see your parents, Rob and Carla, at all the games. Your dad's taking photos, thousands and thousands of photos that you can get on the Facebook page.
Yeah.
That support from your mom and dad's got to be special.
It really is. My mom, my mom always texts me good luck before every game, and it's crazy. I mean, they make the trips. They come far and wide. They go to the UP. They go to every game, and it's really amazing. That my parents, support me and love me and just come to every game. I never take it for granted.
You talk about this coaching staff, Nick, John Tharp now in his 5th year, Pistol Pete and Dan Evans, and it just seems like these are the nicest guys. You talk to them, and they're so accommodating and friendly. Do they have the ability to get heated up a little bit at practice too?
They do. Outside, that's the thing I struggled with my freshman year. They're great people. They're nice people. They care about that family atmosphere. And and I had trouble adjusting onto the court. They're not your friend anymore. They're your coach.
Mm-hmm.
So but they're such good guys. It's once you get a vibe and you're like, okay, it's time to go to work. Then it's when you step on the court, you know what to do.
Yep, for sure.
I wouldn't change it for anything. It's a relationship and I've had with any other coach, really.
Yeah, well put. You look at the seniors on this team, led by Tyler Gerber, who's just, pound for pound one of the toughest players in this conference. Eaton from the outside. Brad Gannett, I think, is an undervalued, underrated guy with everything that he does on the floor. I mean, it's got to be fun to be part of a team with this kind of senior leadership.
It's really something special. I mean, Tyler, from the moment I stepped in as a sophomore, has given every inch of his body to this program, and he comes to practice every day, and he busts his butt, for the program, for us, and it really shows. He's a good leader by actions, and Brad Gannett, is a great leader. I think I agree with what you said. He's a very underrated player, and he's really dangerous. I mean, we all see it in practice. It's going to take a while for him to get it going in games and stuff, but it'll come definitely in the season. And, Brent Eaton, he's just dangerous. I mean, he can shoot from anywhere. He can shoot from the parking lot. So he's definitely, I think, one of the best shooters in the nation. And we're truly blessed as a program to have, such a great senior leadership core and such great players and great people at that.
Yep, for sure. Findlay University, obviously, University of Findlay, they won a couple of national championships. Obviously, they're a perennial GLIAC title winner, and you've never beaten them. I got to think tomorrow, with all of these seniors playing this game at home, they've got a new coach down there. Niekamp has retired. You got to look at this as an opportunity to finally get these guys, don't you?
Absolutely. It's an intense week of practice when we play Finley because we know we want it, and it's the only team. Me personally, I haven't beat since I've been here, and I think it's time. I think it's time. We have great players, we have great leadership, we have a lot of talent, and these seniors are going to give it their all, and I think it's time for us to really beat them. Is
this a mental thing now? I mean, obviously, they're awesome. They have an excellent team every single year. Is this a mental hurdle that you think you guys have to get over? Do you think that the team really believes that this year they can get these guys?
I think this year we really do. I mean, I feel like my sophomore year, they still had that national championship hype where, it's Finley and, everyone got intimidated and stuff. But, I feel like that's gone away by now. That was 4 or 5 years ago, and now it's time. Finley's the same basketball team we are. I personally think that we are just as good, if not better, than Finley this year.
And what's your goals? I mean, you can't take us necessarily into that locker room and talk about everything that you talk about in there, but what do you think the upside of this team is? Do you think that this Charger team, as it's put together this year, can compete for a GLIAC championship?
Absolutely, no doubt in my mind. I think the South has one of the 3 toughest teams in the league, when it comes to Wayne State, Finley, and us. And, going against that competition is going to be tough, but we're definitely, I think, one of the best team in the South. So
it's a possibility. I mean, you got that ability to make that run.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for sure. The North's going to be good, but, you know, we don't have to travel to UP this year. And
Lucky you.
I really think we are the best. Yeah, that 10-hour bus trip will definitely be a plus. But, no, I think for sure that's something that everyone's been thinking about. We talk about it a lot. You know, and everyone really believes that this is the year. This is the year we've been waiting for. This year we're a really veteran squad. We have the most talent. And, you know, it's time to go get it.
I'm going to let you go because I know you're super busy, but I want to ask you just about this week. Not only are you preparing for Findlay, you've got the Lake State game coming up on Saturday, but it's also getting into finals time at Hillsdale College, and we know how tough it is. We know how tough that school is, and now that you kind of put that layer of the final exams on top of that, how are you all managing to get through all of that right now?
It's actually tough. The school scheduled finals for Saturday. So I actually was supposed to take 2 finals Saturday, but I luckily got them rearranged. But, I mean, it's a mental toll, you know, but it makes you mentally stronger. You just got to lock in and, you know, come to the gym and get your work in and, you know, go to work when you're called to do it, you know. But it's going to be tough. You know, people are going to, you know, lose a couple hours of sleep, you know, studying for finals. But we're student athletes. We all expect the burden that it carries, and it's just something that comes with it. So.
Well, best of luck on your finals, and especially for all of the Charger fans tuning in tonight. We need to load up Jesse Phillips Arena tomorrow night. If you go to one game this year, you got to come to Findlay tomorrow night. We got to rock that stadium, and this could be the time where we do something really special. A chance to play Findlay tomorrow night. Nick, great luck in that game and in the rest of the season.